This is my review of the 2018 version of the Athearn HO scale Ready-to-Roll SD40 diesel locomotive. The model I have is Norfolk Southern 3170. Here is some background information about the prototype. The prototype locomotive was built by EMD in 1971 as Southern Railway 3170. It was the first SD40 locomotive built for the Southern Railway, and it features a full-height short hood and configuration for long hood operation. This is a unique spotting feature found only on Norfolk and Western and Southern Railway locomotives. The locomotive was eventually repainted for service on Southern's successor, the Norfolk Southern Railway. Norfolk Southern retired the locomotive in 2007, but decided against scrapping it. In 2015, NS 3170 was restored and repainted back into the original Southern paint scheme, and was returned to service on the Norfolk Southern. In 2016, the locomotive was donated to the Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum in Chattanooga, Tennessee, where it resides today. The MSRP of the Athearn model is $139.98 US for the DC version, and $199.98 US for the DCC sound version. DCC sound models include a Soundtrax Economy decoder and speaker. Typical dealer discount is around 15% off the MSRP. I personally paid $118 US for the DC version. As I only have the DC version on hand, the DCC and sound features of this model will not be covered by this review. The model is part of Athearn's Ready-to-Roll product line, which consists of mid-range budget models at an affordable price. The model features many details and separately applied parts. For the first time in the Ready-to-Roll line, Athearn is installing the windshield wipers at the factory and using painted rubber air hoses. Other details include snowplow, which is not applicable on the specific model, coupler cut lever, handrails, grab irons, wind deflectors, sunshades, antenna, bell, and horn. The roof of the model is especially good. It includes see-through fans, and the detail is comparable to a high-end model such as the Bowser SD40-2. However, as this is a budget model, some of the details are not present. There are no lift rings, no walkway tread, no cab interior, no brake lines, no see-through steps, no MU stand, and no underbody detail aside from the air reservoir and air filters. In addition, not all of the details are true to the prototype. For example, I can see that the model still has class lights, while they have been removed on the real thing. The paint and the lettering on this model is very good. Paint is evenly applied and the small pad printed warning labels are legible under magnification. There is excessive flash on one of my handrail stanchions, which doesn't look nice, but it's an easy fix with a hobby knife. The build quality of the model is slightly above average. The general look is good, but there are still visible glue marks near the handrails and grab irons. The all-weather window on the engineer's side is popped out on the bottom and requires some adjustments to fit properly. The truck side frame under the all-weather window is visibly damaged. It looks like someone at the factory took a metal tool such as a screwdriver and hit the side frame. The brake actuators are actually broken off, and there are scratches on the EMD stencil. I have arranged Athearn to send me a replacement. The side windows can slide open and close. While inspecting the cab, I found an extra screw floating around behind one of the cab windows. I had to pull it out with a pair of tweezers. This 2018 run of the Athearn Ready-to-Roll SD40 is also especially significant, because for the first time, Athearn is including all LED lighting on its Ready-to-Roll line. In addition, DC models feature ESU design electronics with a 21-pin plug for easy decoder installation and support for up to 8 lighting functions depending on the decoder you install. As this is a DC model, I will be testing it using a DC controller. The lights on the model come on at around 2.8 volts. They reach full brightness at 6 volts. The new LED lighting effects are quite good, not too bright and not too dim either. The locomotive begins to move at 7 volts. After extensive braking, the locomotive could start smoothly at around 5 volts. The starting voltage is moderately high for a DC model, so consider that if you will be running the model on DC with other locomotives. Quantitative measurements of this model as follows. The model weighs 458 grams, or just over 1 pound. This model is somewhat lighter than other models of similar size. I measured a drawbar pull of 1.7 ounces at 12 volts DC, which translates to 24 cars. This is significantly less pulling power than a typical model of this size. All of the wheels are in gauge according to the NMRA standards gauge. The McHenry plastic couplers at both ends are at the correct height, according to the Katy height gauge. To remove the shell of the locomotive, just remove the coupler boxes at both ends, and then pull the shell upward. Be aware that there are many wires from the shell that's attached to the chassis. This SD40 model features upgraded electronics from previous Athearn models. There is now a 21-pin circuit board in place of the old 9-pin circuit board. There are provisions on the board for track pickup, 8 function outputs, motor, and speaker. Do note that in order to access all 8 function outputs, an appropriate 21-pin DCC decoder with 8 function support must be installed. Out of the box, all of the headlight and ditch light LEDs on each end are wired together at the front and rear headlight pads. They are pressed into place with friction connectors and can be easily disconnected and separated. Behind the circuit board is a metal cover that can be removed to reveal a speaker mount. The speaker mount is designed to take 16 by 35mm rectangle speakers, but you can also install sugar cube speakers of your choice. The dimensional limits for sugar cube speakers is 14.7mm for width, 26.8mm for length, and 8mm for height. The drive of the locomotive is the same as older Athearn RTR and Blue Box locomotives. It uses the same Athearn dual flywheel motor that dates all the way back to 1984. Inboard square axle bearings are used on the power pickup. While this drive works fine, its design is almost 35 years old as of this writing, and I wish Athearn had put in some efforts in improving it, as now it falls behind the drives on their competition, such as Walther's Mainline and Scaletrain's Operator. Overall, I think this is a good model of the EMD SD40. The best thing I like about this model is that it has a 21-pin plug and factory LEDs. No longer do you have to deal with the incandescent bulbs that draw excessive current and burn out frequently, causing headaches for the user. I like the fact that the model has improved details compared to previous offerings, such as factory-applied wipers, rubber hoses, and role name-specific detail parts on the sides and roof. I also like the fact that it is affordably priced and budget-friendly. What I don't like about the model is although Athearn's quality control has improved somewhat, the build quality of this model is still questionable. As outlined previously, the model is far from perfect out of the box. I don't like the fact that Athearn hasn't done anything to improve the drive mechanism, and its performance is very mediocre. In addition, some details are omitted, and not all the details are correct. But this is one of the trade-offs of an affordable model locomotive. My final verdict for the 2018 Athearn HO Scale Ready-to-Roll SD40 is 8 out of 10. If you have found this video informative or interesting, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel to receive regular updates. Leave a comment if you have questions or concerns.